My golden child sister stole my car and crashed it into the wall because I wouldn't let her live in my house. So I sued her for $50,000 and won. My parents have always treated me and my sister differently for as long as I can remember. Whenever there was a fight, they would always take her side. When we were 8, she broke an entire set of plates and glasses by throwing the box around and jumping on it. She knew that our parents would be angry and she was in trouble, so she blamed it on me. I tried telling them that I was in my room when it happened, but they didn't listen. I was grounded for a whole week while my sister was rewarded with her favorite food for telling them the truth. They also wouldn't celebrate my birthday because they were too busy working. But they would always go all out for my sister's birthday, and buy her whatever presents she asked for. Even though her demands got ridiculous at times, like wanting the latest phone at just 12 years of age, my parents never said no to her. Meanwhile, if I wanted to get new clothes to wear, I had to beg and do chores for a whole week. You see, my parents considered our grades to be the most important thing in the world. She would always get the highest grade in school, so my parents would praise her nonstop. I really tried to match her performance by working hard, but never did as well. So they would always tell me things like, maybe if you learned more from your sister, you wouldn't be such a disappointment. And my sister kept on taking advantage of their favoritism. Things like snatching the TV remote from me and taking my toys but never sharing hers were normal. But she also went too far sometimes. One time, I was really excited for my school field trip and spent the entire week preparing for it. My sister saw that, and decided to sabotage me by lying to my parents. She told them that I had been peeping on the girls' washroom in school, and to my surprise, they believed her without even checking for proof. They never called the school to confirm, and simply decided to punish me by not allowing me to go on the trip. That day, I realized that my parents were never going to take my side. I began spending my time at my friend's house so I wouldn't have to listen to my sister's demands all day long. I also took on a job in high school so I could pay for my own stuff. That was because I never got an allowance like my sister. I was being careful and saving up money because I wanted to move out at 18 and get away from her. For her 16th birthday, my parents bought her a brand new car, and she made sure to rub it in my face. Whenever I had to go somewhere, she would ask me if I wanted a lift, and then proceed to say, "Oops, sorry, I can't waste my fuel on useless people." As time went on, I simply ignored her and kept to myself. There would be days when my parents didn't say a single word to me, but I was more than happy to be ignored rather than punished. When I did finally turn 18, I moved out of their house and went to college while sharing a flat with someone. Those years were grueling, because my parents would constantly demand that I come back home and help with chores even though I was busy with classes. I had to move 2 more times before graduation because they kept finding my address and would show up unannounced. Thankfully, my life finally became stable once I found a decent job. As recently as last month, I bought a new house and have been having a blast living in it. That is until last week, when my sister showed up out of nowhere. She banged at my door, and started demanding that I let her stay inside my house for a few weeks. I denied her demand, and told her to leave me alone because I had cut them off from my life. Then she started explaining that she had a fight with her parents, and wanted to stay away from them. But it wasn't any of my business and I never let her in, so she eventually left after ringing the doorbell for 20 minutes straight. I thought things were over and I was free, but a week later, my car went missing during the night. I panicked but still checked the cameras before calling the police. It turns out, my sweet little sister had broken the window of my car with a brick and stolen it from right outside my house. I had an epiphany and realized that she was attempting to once again belittle me like she had done her entire life, but this time, I wasn't going to let her get away with it. I called the cops and reported the car as stolen with the camera footage as evidence. But 2 days later, I found out that my sister had just crashed it into a wall somewhere and left it there like a piece of garbage. I have never been more angry, and knew I had to take revenge. So I hired a lawyer, told him that I wanted to sue my sister for $20,000, and he told me to up it to $50,000. I know my sister doesn't even have a job and still lives in our parents' house, so they will most likely have to pay it instead of her. But it doesn't matter, because they will learn what they did to me was wrong. My golden child sister stole my car and crashed it into the wall because I wouldn't let her live in my house. So I sued her for $50,000 and won. I have never been more angry, and knew I had to take revenge. So I hired a lawyer, told him that I wanted to sue my sister for $20,000, and he told me to up it to $50,000. I know my sister doesn't even have a job and still lives in our parents' house, so they will most likely have to pay it instead of her. But it doesn't matter, because they will learn what they did to me was wrong. Once I filed the lawsuit, I got a dozen calls from my parents, which I ignored. But then they showed up at my door just like my sister, and told me to stop what I was doing immediately. I told them no, and that my sister committed a crime and needed to pay for it. They kept yelling however, and only left when I threatened to get a restraining order against them. Edit, well, it's been a month since then and I am happy to say that the lawsuit is over. It's over so quickly because they agreed to pay me the amount I asked for, which was $50,000. My sister was granted parole but she's being forced to take therapy by our parents. I think this incident made them realize that their treatment of her was wrong, and they needed to rectify it.